is a continuation of the video I've started. This is like part 3. If you've not seen the part 1 and part 2, I'll put the link in my description box. You see playlist, country comparison. You see Norway versus Iceland. Make sure you go through it. So this is the part 3. So in that part 3, we're talking about population, and I've explained to you how population is very important for immigration, why it is one of those things you have to consider before you actually choose any country. So for Iceland, the population is like 380,000. And you know that Iceland is like a country on top of an island, Iceland. So whereas Norway, they have like 5.5 million people. So when we talk about job markets, and that's why I talk about population, because I said population is one of those things that will actually affect you as an immigrant, right? And I made the example of countries that population has really affected regarding immigration. So for Iceland actually has a higher employment rate compared to Norway, that has a lower employment rate. So this does not mean that if you get to Norway, you not get a job, and this does not mean that if you automatically get to Iceland, you not get a job. Check my part 2, right? I talk about jobs that are in demand there. But then when we're actually talking about employability as well, it has to do with population, because when there are lesser population, there are more jobs available. And even if there are more jobs available, you have to take cognizance of the field that is very available there as well. So if 2 people had to go to Iceland versus Norway, and they studied in-demand job, or they have experience in in-demand job that I've listed in my part 2, the one in Iceland has higher chances of getting a job compared to the one in Norway. So let's keep going. The next differences between them is tax. In Iceland, the tax is higher, whereas in Norway it is lower. So what's the value between the 2 taxes? So in Iceland, if you had the taxes together, personal income tax, the pension, the insurance, everything, the income tax is everything, that's together is about 50.29% of your income. Whereas in Norway, and this one is for high income earners, so I not calculate for small income, it's for high income earners, 50.29. I'll make a separate video talking about tax calculation in Iceland and Norway, video. So this one is just for us to know the differences. That let's say that you go there, you study in demand job, and you're earning this month a low 50.29%. So you guys know that in my part 2 or in my part 1, I talked about how much you can earn in the 2 countries. So imagine, that's actually a lot of money. So imagine when you remove the tax, do your calculation. So in Iceland, the tax is 50.29%, whereas in Norway, the tax is 47.4%. Do you guys see the difference, right? So the next on my list is, so Iceland tax is higher than Norway tax. The next on my list is job market. So the thing is, that's why I'm saying that. So for the fact that I said that the population in this particular country is smaller than this thing, it also affects the job market. So the job market in Iceland is smaller compared to Norway, right? Because Norway, there are a lot of people, they kind of more job opportunities compared to where it's smaller. They have less job opportunity but has high employment rates, right? So the thing is, if you mistakenly see a job in Iceland, they're employing you straight away because there are not a lot of people. But then the thing is, for Norway, there are a lot of job opportunities, but the thing is, there are more people competing. So it's just like, maybe let's say in Norway, you can have like 20 vacancy versus maybe 500,000 people competing. Whereas you can have in Norway, maybe like 3 vacancy, like 10 people competing, you understand, something like that. So another difference between them is is cost of study. So if you have to study in Iceland, if you're doing primary, secondary, is free in both countries. But if you're talking about tertiary in Iceland, it is 100% free. The only thing that you pay is semester fee. Semester fee or maintenance fee, something like that. I made a video previously about how to study in Iceland. You see my video, go through my playlist. Iceland as a playlist, go through it, check it. So in Iceland, tuition is free. Like yeah, it's long. The only thing you pay is semester fee, and the semester fee is not a lot. So watch the video. Whereas in Norway, before 2023, it used to be free tuition. It would have been both, but now the government is now charging. You have to pay money to attend Norway universities, and it's very expensive. So for Iceland, the ones that are free, they are the public universities. So once more private, to private it won't be way. Whereas for Norway, at the public or at the private, you have to pay for it. That's another difference. So another difference again is permanent residency. Which one can you get permanent residency faster? In Iceland, the permanent residency takes you like 4 years. You have to have lived in the country continuously for 4 years, and you have to have evidence that you actually enrolled in an Icelandic lesson, like you are learning Icelandic. The thing is, you might not, you don't have to necessarily know it. Citizenship for PR, shall make sure that you live there for at least 4 years, and then you are currently enrolled in an Icelandic institution that you are learning Iceland, or at least over the year no more about PR. Just evidence that you're enrolled, that's all, and that you've lived there for 4 years, finish. And then for Norway, 3 years. Just live there continuously for 3 years, and evidence that you actually enrolled in a Norwegian lesson, right? You get your PR. That's the difference. And then citizenship is, for you to get your citizenship, you should have lived in either of those countries for 7 years. So their citizenship, number of citizenship years is same, right? It's just their PR that is slightly different. Right, then visa approval rates. Which one has higher visa approval rates? According to my experience, research, and point of view, Iceland has a higher visa approval rates because number one, there are not a lot of people. They are just 380 compared to 55 million. So I feel like they need more people compared to Iceland. So somehow you get more distance. Then another difference between both of them is transportation. So in Iceland, there's no train. In Iceland, it's just car, bus, truck, this thing. They don't have train. But in Norway, they have train. And then I know some people be like, come, don't manage this thing. This is very important. Because you guys know Iceland is a small country on a highland, right? So during winter, it's very, very difficult to enroute, to pass some places without train. So if you move to Iceland, right, anywhere you move to, make sure that there are places that is motorable in winter and in summer. Yeah, make sure it's motorable. None of them gives best citizenship. They don't have citizenship by birth. So if you have to compare which of the countries is colder or hotter, Norway is always colder than Iceland, despite Iceland is just on the Iceland. And most of the time when you see picture of Iceland, you'll be like, this place is very cold. So Norway is the coldest of the two countries. So out of all this comparison, if you watch the part 1, the part 2, and then the part 3 of this, which of these countries do you think is your favorite choice, or which one do you think you actually be visiting? Which one do you think you'll be migrating to, or which one do you think you'll be going to, right? And what is the reason for choosing this over this? So guys, this one will bring us to the end of this comparison of these two countries. If there's any other country you want me to compare, leave it in the comment section, and you guys will see the video as soon as I can. So guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.